How has your experience been over the last 25 odd years of investing into stock market?
When we are very young, young blood, we tend to think we will earn lot of money in very short period of time, but that doesn't happen actually. I also started doing trading and then I ended up losing money. At that time, Nimesh Bhai was my idol. I thought, okay, how they are able to make money and why we are not. And then I started studying the model of Nimesh Bhai and Rakesh ji. And then I realized that if you want to create a wealth, it took me 7, 8, 10 years to really understand the concept of investing.
When I was reading your profile, your portfolio has done terrific compounding of 60-70% over the last decade.
See, 60-70% CAGR was last 6-7 years. There are 5 to 7 companies in last 7 years where we have made exponential return of 20, 30, 40 times. I can give you example like
What level should you look at setting up a family office?
for small corpus, it doesn't make sense to set up the family office. 50 to 100 crore is a good corpus to set up the family office.
How will you describe your way of how you created wealth?
So my philosophy is first, FNO is clearly no. Second philosophy is I really try to understand the
Going forward, any one or two themes where you feel there is very good opportunity, disproportionate profit growth?
if you really look at the sectorial performances, I think
Hello everyone. Welcome to the Motilal Oswal Family Office podcast series. This is the first podcast series we are doing to educate super high net worth individuals in understanding the role of creating family offices to manage their monies, to manage the succession planning for their families in a much more organized way. To help you understand this, we will invite representatives from India's top family office setup and make you understand the importance of creating a family office to manage your family net worth successfully. This is the first one we are doing, and the first guest we have in today's episode is Mr. Sudhir Bheda.
Namaskar.
He is a chartered accountant by qualification, but by professional experience, he's been a stock market investor in India for the last 3 decades. He's been a successful stock market investor and created enormous wealth. In the last 5 years, he has created a formal family office setup to manage the corpus well, to do succession planning, and to understand all of these things. We have Sudhir ji once again. So when you got into stock markets, what was your thought process? How did you go about investing? How has your experience been over the last 20 odd years, 25 odd years of investing into stock markets? Initially, did you have some setbacks, or it was all going good from the word go types? So a little bit of your journey in investing.
When we are very young, young blood, we tend to think that we will earn a lot of money in very short period of time, but that doesn't happen actually. So I also started doing trading in the market, and then I ended up losing money. So then I retrospect. At that time Nimesh Bhai was my idol,
Yes.
and then I thought, okay, how they are able to make money and why we are not. And then I started studying the model of Nimesh Bhai and Rakesh ji.
Right.
And then I realized that really, if you want to create a wealth, there is no shortcut.
Right.
You have to have patience, you have to have knowledge. Investment in knowledge is required. So I started studying and acquiring the knowledge. It took me a lot of time, maybe 7, 8, 10 years
Yeah.
to really understand the uh, concept of investing. And in those days, actually, there was no transparency. Right now, we have all kind of information available through website, through con call, through meeting with the companies. Lot of companies, like even Motilal also
Yes.
organize
Yes.
conferences where companies management come and meet the investor.
Yes.
In those days, there was nothing like, there was no quarterly or half yearly result. The result tend to be an annual one. Even if we want to read annual report, we have to go to BSc library, apply for the annual report, and then we will get.
Yes.
So it was very difficult to really, do research. But somehow we started the process, and then as the technology involved on transparency also kick in, it was then last 6-7 years, it was really easy to understand the company, to judge the promoters, to analyze the sectors, uh, to analyze the various ratios like cash flow and all, ROE, ROEC, and lot of other things. And then the confidence came. And really, the last 6-7 years, I was able to, really build a good wealth.
Right. So over time, as you progressed in the in your investing journey, have you kind of developed your style of investing? Are you a buy and hold investor, or are you an active investor? Is your portfolio a combination of long only investing versus combination of trading, future options, all of these things? How will you kind of describe your way of investing, or your way of how you created wealth?
As I said, there is no shortcut. So my philosophy is first, no, no. FNO is clearly no.
Good.
Second philosophy is I really try to understand the company's fundamental and the turning point if the company has in their journey, and we try to capture those point. I generally don't invest in very large cap equity companies, large cap companies. I tend to even today also I try to invest in a micro cap or mid cap companies where the growth opportunities are immense. Identify the sector, identify the company, do a lot of analysis. But philosophy remains the same. Invest in a good growth companies which has a potential to grow in next 5 to 7 years much more than the large cap or Nifty 50 companies give the growth. Wait patiently for the company to mature, and if I find that now valuations have moved into some crazy level, then I tend to sell also.
Right.
There are cases where sometimes the euphoria comes in the market and then valuations goes beyond what we expect, and that point of time we have to book the profit.
Right. Right.
So I generally, of course, it's a buy and hold, but at some point of time when we feel that there is an euphoria in the sector or euphoria in the company, and the valuations are way beyond our target, then we book the profit also.
No, I was seeing when I was reading your profile, I think your portfolio has done a terrific compounding of 60-70% over the last decade or so. So I'm sure renewable, of course, has been a good sector over the last 5 years. Any other sectors which really worked well for you?
See, 60-70% CAGR was last 6-7 years
Yeah.
actually. From, if you calculate,
Which is post-COVID.
pre and post COVID up to 2024, and then of course last 1 year it has been really tough year.
Yes.
So really this last 6-7 years went really well, phenomenally well. Pre COVID, and then the run which came post COVID. Many companies, I will say from like 3,000 actively traded companies, we leave it whatever for 30-40 crore market cap companies. The rest 2,000 companies, if we look, almost 70 to 80% have compounded almost 60-70% CAGR in last
True.
4-5 years up to 2024.
Yes.
So those who have really invested their money in last 5-6 years, they have made really solid wealth. They have created solid wealth up to 2024.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. We meet a lot of investors, and I think the kind of wealth creation which has happened in post-COVID, more specifically, it's been phenomenal. I think all spectrum of investors, from retail investors to high net worth, and many listed companies where promoters have diluted their stakes, they have created wealth in their companies becoming very, very large, and there is where let us get a little bit into now understanding when did you decide to organize your family office? What motivated you to set up your family office? How is it structured? If you can share some of the thoughts.
Yeah, family office is a privately held entity. Mostly, it's a discretionary entity to manage the investment and wealth of their family members.
Yeah.
Now, typically, what is happening right now with the all retail investor or those who are really actively doing investing directly. Suppose there are 4 or 5 members in your family, and depending upon the amount which each and every family has in their bank account, generally they tend to invest in their individual name.
Yes.
Suppose I myself is investing in my name, my wife is investing in her name, my mother or father or
Children, all of
children.
those.
So, but when the pool becomes very large, it's really difficult to manage the individual names. Instead of that, if the one pool is created, and then it is either through private trust or through LLP.
LLP structure, yes.
There are only 2 ways you
Yes,
can do it.
yes.
And then entire wealth is put into that
Into
entity
the structure.
in a structured either LLP or a privately held trust. Then you can well define the shares of each and every family members. And then a one pool or one entity, it is easy to manage. You can appoint, if the pool is very large, you can have an expert CIO also looking after your investments. You can take fairly good stake in the companies also, like Premji Invest. Like Azim Premji has a family office called Premji Invest.
Yeah.
They are investing in lot of startups also, in lot of companies also. And then if we invest a large chunk to any companies, then you and the pool is really large, then you get the recognition also.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and succession planning also, it is really helpful to have a
because shares are
private
divided amongst family
because
members.
the shares beneficiary shares are well defined.
Yes.
And there cannot be any dispute then later on.
Yeah.
Because everything is jotted down. It's a black and white thing. Shares are defined, beneficiaries are defined.
Yeah.
And it is easier to operate one entity rather than having
Multiple-
6, 7, 8
multiple
family
individuals.
names
Agree with you.
doing their investment in their individual name. But of course, for small corpus, the practice is right now going on is to invest in their family member. One member who is really interested, you will say any one member who would be interested in doing investments in the capital market, he generally take a call and invest in their family member's name. But structure way is always better when the corpus is large.
Okay. So, who should really, at what level should you look at setting up a family office? Is there a particular size when one reaches, then maybe what, 50 crores of corpus or 100 crores of corpus, or even at 10 crores, one can still set up a family office? And how are the cost structures like when you set up a family office? Do you need to have compliances in place, full-time compliance, lawyers, so on and so forth? At what level one should look at organizing this kind of a vehicle? Because certainly it makes a lot of sense from when you have a decent sized corpus, is that rather than managing in individual accounts, it is managed in a pool level. And then I think the succession planning is the single most advantage is succession planning, that the people may move on, but the family office will continue, and it can be a very well organized in terms of who does what, so on and so forth. So any thoughts on at what level one should look at setting up a family
Yeah,
office?
that is a good question actually. See, family office concept itself was started in 2010-11, and it has gained the ground after COVID. And what has happened is lot of promoters have sold their stakes.
Yes.
looking at the boom in the capital market.
Yes.
And those corpus which they have got by selling their stake in the listed company or unlisted companies, they set up the family office, like Burmans of
Yes.
Dabur.
Many.
And
We have hundreds and hundreds of family
there are
offices.
almost 300 family
Yeah.
offices right
Yes.
now. But the concept which started in 2010-11 has gained ground in the recent years, post-COVID.
Yeah.
So almost, I will say 80-85% of the family offices started after COVID. And as you rightly said, for small corpus, it doesn't make sense to have a one entity doing all kind of formalities. Of course, see, either you can set up the trust or LLP. Trust is governed by the Maharashtra Trust Act, and the LLP is, of course, is
Corporate.
governed by the Department of the Corporate Affairs.
Yeah.
So both have their own formalities and a lot of compliances you have to do. Like LLP, if your income is more than 40 lakh, you have to go for audit. Trust, of course, you have to go for
Exactly.
and a lot of forms filing and etc. And then for small corpus, it doesn't make sense to employ professional CIO to look after your investments. So I think you rightly said 50 to 100 crore is a good corpus to look for the to set up the family offices.
You have gone with the trust structure or a LLP structure?
No, I will go in the trust
structure. Okay. What is your investment charter looks like?
Yeah, that is very good and valid question. Asset allocation is utmost important. In a family office, suppose I am chartered accountant, but all other family members are really not interested in capital market. So I am managing like for my family. So I have very clear goal and very clear asset allocation policy in place, because market is always remain volatile. You take any year, something or other comes and market
So very volatile.
gives very ups and down. And to secure the future, it is always prudent to have an asset allocation policy in place. So we do have asset allocation. All the family members, we sit together once in a month time to discuss also. Though other family members may not be interested in capital market, but still I discuss with them about the
It's a family review process.
And every family should do this.
Yes.
Because life is also uncertain. I have seen the cases where, main family members, unfortunate something happens to him, then all other family members are really clueless.
Yes.
Okay, what kind of wealth we have, what kind of liabilities we have.
Yes.
So I will give the message through this podcast that financial and wealth aspect, each and every family should discuss in their family once in a, not maybe a month or maybe once in a 6 month.
Yeah.
And even though they are, other family members, if they are not really expert in capital market, I still take their views. Okay, आपको क्या लग रहा है? What should be the thing? What should be our asset allocation in view of changing situation? So sometimes we also get an idea, and family members also feel that we are very much aware of what is going on. So every family, I believe, should follow this process. Yeah. Particularly with ladies members of the family.
Very good. So at this stage, what is your asset allocation pattern?
Mine is always 50-50.
Achha, so you're 50 equity and 50 into cash or any other asset? Debt.
So I invest in debt mutual fund, not equity, and FD.
So stocks for equities and mutual funds for debt.
So why 50-50? Because see, when you are investing in large cap, your asset allocation can be different.
Yes.
Because it's large cap, you can encash at any time.
Yeah.
I invest in mid caps and small caps.
Which could be illiquid.
Which could be illiquid for a long period of time, unless the company matures.
Yeah.
And you have to wait till that time. So it is important to have other source of income. So that's why I have kept it 50-50.
So 50% cash,
50% debt. You
For
can say.
debt, matlab cash, I'm saying in the
Yeah.
context of debt only. Don't you think on a over a longer term basis, it could dilute the IRR of the portfolio,
course.
especially for somebody like you who's been a very successful stock market
No, but
investor?
see, investing in small and mid caps carries risk, and it is a seasonal uh, business actually.
It's cyclical, so
Cyclical,
few good years,
seasonal.
few bad years.
See, there is a time where there is euphoria in the market and all mid caps go up like uh, crazy, and you have a good exit options. Like last 3 years, like 23, maybe 2 years, FY23, FY24. There was a euphoria in the market in mid and small cap and also in SMEs. But there are the times where you will not able to sell your shares, and
Which is like
market
last
becomes
12 months.
so illiquid.
Yeah.
So then you have to wait for the time to mature, and in that process you should have other source of income, you should have other security which gives you confidence. Okay, even market remains uh, in a dull situation or in a downturn for maybe 3-4 years, we don't have a problem as a family.
Liquidity is not a problem.
Hmm.
Okay.
And we do not depend on the uh, stock market income
Yeah.
to run our day-to-day expenses, or maybe like we do a lot of charity also to make donations and all.
Correct.
We do not depend on the stock market. Bhai, yahan se we'll sell and then we'll have money and then we will.
Which is very interesting point. You're talking
Donate.
about philanthropy. So, which also happens from the family office only.
Yeah.
And have you decided any particular
Because
percentage?
I come from very humble background. I did not have anything when I came to Bombay. I studied in the hostel for 10 years.
Mm.
So I believe that giving back to the society is when you are privileged and you are blessed, then you should give back to the society. So that mantra I follow.
Yeah, I agree with you. You have any fixed amount or percentage of income that you
No, it
donate?
depends upon the causes. Sometimes
So it is as the cause, ad hoc it is. Okay.
But I generally donate in education and medical field.
Education sector and medical sector. No, that's a noble cause, and congratulations for that.
So that asset allocation gives us that leverage.
Barabar.
Because suppose like 50% my investments are in equity, it becomes sometime illiquid for maybe 2-3 years, like 2025
I agree with you.
calendar year. If you see, I was not able to sell much of my investment.
So talking a little bit about your sense on markets, growth drivers for the markets. Like you rightly said that it was just about the tariff related matters got behind us. The Q3 earnings growth has been pretty strong, but now we are impacted with this Iran war. So what do you think could be some of the structural drivers for Indian stock markets, let's say for the next 3 to 5 years? Strong macro, strong earnings, valuations, liquidity. So, again, we've been discussing that 21 to 24 has been like a great super bull run. And then 25 onwards, we went through time correction. Now we are going through price correction. Valuations, of course, are getting better by the day. But still there are, the foreign institution investors continue to sell while the domestic investors are very strong. If the war is likely to continue, then how the impact would be on the earnings. Keeping all of these things in mind, do you feel that India is a good allocation for next 5 years?
So you rightly said what are the
Growth drivers, yes.
See, if you really see, I'm talking about large cap Nifty 50 companies.
Yeah.
Do you know what is the profit growth
Eh,
of Nifty 50 companies?
Last year has been a washout.
No,
for
last
5%.
4 years.
Last
Maybe
4
3 to
years,
5.
I think.
Just 5%.
Yeah.
And top 5 companies
Yeah.
in the Nifty 50. TCS, no growth, zero growth. I'm talking about last 5 years.
Yeah. Correct.
No growth. Hindustan Lever, hardly any growth.
No.
Reliance, 8% growth. And then one more. Bharti has given a good, better growth prospects. But all other 4 companies.
Banks also in general have been slow growth. Large banks.
So see, reason why FIs are selling, reason is this. Actually, nobody talks about this. in large cap or Nifty 50 companies, where is the profit growth? You tell me. See, Korea gives you a profit growth of 15-20%.
Yeah.
US is growing at a very good pace. US companies.
Yes. Yes.
Whereas our top companies are, if they are growing at 5-7%,
Yeah.
why will FI invest here and take currency risk? So we need to have good growth from the large cap companies. So where I think I am not very bullish about the large cap company like Asian Paint, Hindustan Lever, TCS, Infosys, and then lot of other cement companies. So we need to really find out where the growth opportunity lies in large cap.
Yeah.
It's really tough task. So now, what are the growth driver or where we can make money? So the obvious thing is go to mid and small companies, small cap companies. In India, there are a lot of good mid and small companies. They offer unique products. Some companies have the monopoly kind of products. They offer good opportunity at this valuation. So we need to really identify the good medium to small companies or mid cap to small companies where there are some unique products are there.
I agree with
And the valuations are
Yeah.
also have corrected significantly. So this gives the good opportunity in mid and small. Large cap companies, as I mentioned, you really need to work very hard to find the
like they say, growth is all
opportunity.
below top 50. So
Growth
below
is
50 is where the growth drivers are, and that's where the true India and true entrepreneurship is there. So like you've seen great success in renewable power over the last 5 years. Going forward, any one or two themes where you feel there is very good opportunity, disruption, disproportionate profit growth?
Yes, if you really look at the sectorial performances, I think power sector can offer a good opportunity. I believe that power sector will continue to grow at 7-8%.
Okay.
So power sector itself or maybe ancillary
Auto ancillary.
not
The power.
power equipment companies
Understood.
also can do well. Some of the chemical companies also, see, chemical sector is in downturns in last 3-4 years.
3-4 years, yes.
So some of the companies now are giving good opportunity to invest.
So growth is coming back.
Growth will come back in some select companies, like flavors and fragrance companies. Some like Privy Speciality, I think, is giving good growth since last 4 to 6 quarters. There are other companies as well in chemical sector. So we should look at the chemical sector.
Okay.
Power sector will definitely grow. And now consumer durable, like, last year it was washout. So we can look at those companies.
Air conditioners, refrigerators.
Yeah, fan like Crompton.
Fans. Okay.
Valuations are very attractive.
Sure.
In Crompton and Orient.
Sure.
So, of course, you have to look from various angles and various perspectives. But this is a first-hand perspective I'm giving. That if the summer is tough.
Yeah, and naturally, it's very natural. Yeah.
And last year it was really washed out. So valuations have corrected significantly. So that gives a good opportunity.
I think the GST benefit also will help the margins for these companies, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. No, great, sir. So, any other thoughts coming back to the family office kind of a discussion point? Any other thoughts? So we have discussed about how to set up a family office, what kind of a structure, LLP, trust, need to have an investment charter, asset allocation in place, regular reviews with the family members. I think a lot of very interesting points have come.
Family office concept itself says that you need to interact with your family and your family members should know.
Yeah. Another interesting thing I liked is, in the family office, you can also involve professionals to help you on a day-to-day basis, like getting analysts. I think you have few analysts to help you research on sectors, or having a chief investment officer, who can give professional advice, research. So I think So apart from all of this, are we missing any other point which can be like, these are the few more reasons why this kind of a structure is important?
See, first of all, I will advise in your family, or maybe you have set up the family office or not, but if you are investing in all the family members and you are not expert in stock market, you should not take the risk of investing on your own. You should give to mutual fund
Mutual
or
funds.
PMS or AIF.
Yes.
A lot of structure is
Yes.
available as per your requirement. If you want to really invest directly, you should have the knowledge,
Of course.
experience. Otherwise, it is really difficult
Give it to
to
professionals.
make money. I will advise surely to trust your capital to good professionals like Motilal Oswal, for
Thank you
example.
so much. Thank you.
So otherwise, it's really, things are dynamic and changing so fast.
Yes.
So for one individual, it is not possible, to judge where particular industry is going or where capital market
Of course.
is
Of
going.
course. I agree with you completely.
So,
Completely. If you don't have time, if you are involved in other businesses, then trust professionals. But in your particular family offices, another interesting space over the last few years has been IPOs or pre-IPOs, unlisted, private equity. Have you looked at this space also, or you've stayed away from all of these spaces?
we have invested in some pre-IPO, like Vari we have invested,
Okay.
but it gave us a phenomenal return.
Yeah.
Some other companies also we have invested.
Okay. So you've been open towards
Yeah.
early investing through PIPOs.
Of course, see, the important thing is don't go by the momentum.
Yeah.
सब लोग कर रहे हैं तो मैं को भी प्री so I have seen people this is a trend pre-IPO, so I will also do. अरे भाई, you look at the company where you are investing, because very high risk investment.
Yes. Yes.
So you have to be very, very careful when you invest in pre-IPO companies. And now those who are really invested in the pre-IPO without looking at the merit, they will definitely pay the price. So don't go where masses are going.
Yeah. Don't go towards fancy things.
When there is euphoria, we should avoid.
Yeah.
When you go with the masses, sometimes you will realize that the M is missing.
Be fearful when others are greedy.
Yes. That is very basic rules. But then the time is such, if you see last year, 24, everybody was investing. The valuation in the stock market was crazy. So then people shifted to pre-IPO, and lot of promoters have taken the advantage of it.
Right.
And collected a lot of money.
Right.
So we have to be very careful.
Yeah.
Nimesh bhai used to say, when the roads are clear, you have to be very careful while driving.
Correct.
But when there is a traffic, you need not to be very careful.
You need to be careful.
The chances of accidents
Traffic
are very
is-
high when the road is
Yes.
because you tend to drive at high speed when the roads are clear.
I think some very, very interesting thoughts, Sudhir ji, and I think आपने बहुत सिंपल तरीके से फैमिली ऑफिस का कॉन्सेप्ट समझाया है. आपने you have done very well in your investing journey. So on behalf of Motilal Oswal Group, we wish you all the very best. Thank you for taking your time out and being our first guest on this series, and thank you so much.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.